All right, we're going to get started here. This is exciting. I'm so excited about this call tonight. So we actually are welcoming Jaime and her whole team with us tonight. So we're doing a little joint call here tonight, and we're going to record it. But I'm just going to mute everybody now so we get a good recording, and then we can certainly all chat at the end. Here. Mute. Okay, so let me just hang on. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so welcome. I'm Kathleen Petula, and we're part of Inspiration Nation, and we are welcoming Jaime's whole team with her, and she's going to be doing some talking with us tonight. And we thought we just would, I invited Jaime to talk on our call, and we thought since you guys did calls on the same night, why don't we just do a nice big group call together? So we're excited to have you. And just a little bit of my backstory. So I started with Beachbody about 2 years ago. And I started originally, I think like a lot of us do, for my own health and fitness goals. I'm a mom of 3 boys, and my third pregnancy was tough, and I had extra weight to lose and all that kind of good stuff. So I really started out because I just wanted to lose some weight. And I saw the opportunity of coaching within the first month because it was working for me. I was doing a Shakeology and clean eating group, and I loved it. And I thought, why not make a little extra money. My first goal was to make enough money to have a cleaning lady. And then some stuff happened at my work. I started really feeling some significant burnout. I'm a social worker by profession, and I was working in oncology. And I did support groups for people living with cancer. And while I loved the work that I was doing, I was really struggling a bit with taking some of the stuff home with me that I was seeing at my work. And instead of pulling my boys, I have 3 boys, instead of kind of pulling them closer, I found myself kind of pushing them away. And I thought I just needed something else. And I had already kind of been thinking I might want to try something else. I was also working long hours because I wanted to condense my hours into fewer days, but I was starting to miss out on things that my boys were getting involved with. So I started doing coaching kind of thinking that I would build, but I just decided that I wanted to do this as my full-time thing. So I took a leap of faith. Before it was even Diamond, I resigned from my social work job and pulled the kids from daycare. They were doing daycare 3 days a week. And I went for it. And as I think all of you know, it has its ups and downs, but it's been really overall a wonderful experience. And I've connected with so many great coaches. And, and in addition to all the health and fitness stuff that, of course, goes along with Beachbody, it's just really, I think, helped me become a much more hopeful person. And it's really all that personal development stuff that we hear about all the time has really helped form who I am, and hopefully helped who I am as a parent to my kids, which is really important to me. And so anyway, so we were really excited to have Jaime on the call tonight because a couple of coaches from our team heard Jaime speak at Summit, and I don't know if, how many of you have heard that, but it was really inspiring to us, and it really hit a nerve with a lot of the coaches on our team because she speaks to something that I think we can all relate to. So we're going to have her talk in a few minutes, but before that, we've sort of started this tradition on our calls, on our team calls. We've a couple of calls ago, we had Katie Ersta speak, and if any of you have heard her speak, she really talks a lot about having you get to know your own story and your own message and what you want to share with the world and what you want to share with other people about coaching. So we decided as a team that we wanted to start practicing sharing our stories with a friendly audience, and then taking that to share with other people. So we've been having a different coach each call share a little bit about why they got involved with coaching and a little bit more about who they are and stuff like that. So we were going to keep that tradition going, even though it will be a little bigger audience, but hopefully everybody can still be a good friendly audience tonight. So Julie is actually going to share her story with us. So thank you for being brave, Julie, and speaking to the larger audience. I'm going to unmute you so you can just share your story with us.
Okay. Thanks, Kathleen. Hi, everyone. I'm Julie Santarlis, and I live in Greensburg, Pennsylvania. I'm married, and I have 3 little boys. They're ages 5, 3, and almost a year. So things are a little busy around here, but I have a master's in physical therapy, and I was a physical therapist at a hospital and at a nursing home. But once I had my first child, I decided to stay home. And how I got connected in with Beachbody, Kathleen and I had gone to high school together. So I had seen some of her clean eating posts, and I thought, this might be a way for me to get healthy and to get my kids healthy. At the time, I had 2 little ones. And my husband and I had joined a T25 group, and we actually were in the group with Terry Shaw at the time. That was her first group too. And I really enjoyed it, but while I was in the challenge group, I got pregnant with my 3rd child, and I was really tired, and I just kind of put health and fitness on the back burner and got through the pregnancy. And then when my 3rd little guy was about 6 months old, Kathleen and I got to talking again, and I thought, you know what, I think I'm going to do this, and let's go for the coaching and see where we can go from there. I really got involved because I wasn't happy with the way my kids were eating, the way my husband and I were eating. We'd have McDonald's here and there, and it just wasn't where I wanted to go with the kids. And I wanted to lose the baby weight and get back to where I had been before. So that's kind of how we got started, and started into the coaching. And I was really, really slow at first because I really didn't have the confidence. I didn't feel like I knew what I was doing. I was nervous. I hadn't talked to a lot of the friends I had on Facebook for years, and it just didn't seem like I was very nervous. So it took me a while to get going, but these past couple months, actually, I was inspired. I didn't go to Summit, but I watched a lot of the videos, and I was really, really inspired by the few that I did see. And I thought, you know what, I'm just going to go in and I'm just going to do it. So that's really all I have to my story. I'm here for my family. I'm here to be to help people. I'm not out being a physical therapist anymore. I'm staying home with my kids, and I'm doing this. So this is a way for me to still connect with people, to still help people, to get back on their feet, and still using that physical therapy background that I have. So I think that's all I have. We're going to make it short tonight.
That was awesome, Julie. And I have to brag on Julie for a minute, because she has been a rockin' this month and is super close to a huge goal that she has. And it is because she is putting in a ton of effort and time. And I don't know, something clicked on for you, and I'm not quite sure, but maybe but it's been really fun to see you kind of catch the wave and get going. So thank you for sharing your story. And by the way, her boys are super cute, and we actually have a club going, Moms of 3 Boys, because we have a number of people on our team that are totally outnumbered in their houses by a lot of testosterone. Anyway, okay, and then next we are starting another tradition of having somebody in the group share a little bit about a specific program or topic. Particularly a Beachbody product. So Nadine on our team actually just finished the Ultimate Reset, and I volunteered her to share a bit about her experience, because I've never personally done it, but I've always been curious, and I've had a small number of potential challengers ask me about it, and I always have to be like, oh, let me look it up. I'm not sure. I know somebody did it somewhere along the line. So Nadine, you are dark on my screen, so I'm gonna unmute you and make sure you're there. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here, and I can't figure out what's going on.
Oh,
I have my lights on, and I don't know. My laptop's just doing something funny. You can't see me at all, I bet. I mean, it just looks like a black screen to me. So,
yeah. Well, that's okay.
Know some of the supplements and stuff, but I'm sorry.
That's okay.
I would probably just have to reboot or something, but okay. You can see the pictures of the product online.
Yeah.
So I'll just share a little bit how it kind of went for me.
Yeah.
So when I started the Ultimate Reset, I actually had been curious about it myself, probably ever since I started coaching 2 years ago. And it was one of those things that I always wanted to do, but I was just kind of scared to do it. And I was like, I don't know if I can handle this or if I could make it through. But I ended up ordering it and just thought, I'm just going to go for it and see how it goes. And I'll just tell you up front, I didn't follow it to a T because the number one thing is I didn't want to stop exercising. And I hear a lot of people, that's one of their hesitations why they don't want to do it. But I thought, I can, even if I have to modify some of the stuff, I'm still going to go ahead and do it just because I wanted to be able to explain it to other people who wanted to do it. And I knew I wouldn't understand it unless I did it myself. So I thought at least I'll go through it and see what it's like. And so I threw in some different stuff here and there to be able to exercise and still have energy and not feel like I was going to pass out. But it worked well for me. It's a 3-week program, and starting out, you really have to plan ahead and find 3 weeks where like I'm not going to be traveling, that you're going to have extra time to do planning and prepping of foods, because I literally, like every meal, you have to have time to prep. So it's extra time there, extra time shopping, extra time meal planning, because they were like throwing out foods at me that I had never heard of, and I didn't know. I had to go like 3 or 4 different stores to find them. I had to order stuff on Amazon. So it's extra research and stuff like that too. So you find those 3 weeks. I had a 3-week window from the time we got back from Summit until our anniversary. And I thought, okay, cool. I can like try to shed a few of these extra pounds I picked up over the summer on our cruise. I kind of like, we went on a cruise in May, and I just kind of fell off of the wagon altogether. So, and I never could regroup myself after that. So I thought, this is perfect. So, the main purpose of the cleanse of the reset is to cleanse our bodies and to rid the toxins from foods and the environment. So it's basically getting us eating more whole natural foods, and basically by the last week has you eating just vegan, vegetarian foods. So it's not just a cleanse, but it's a detox. So it's really cleansing your body out and giving it a tune-up. And the 21 days are broken up into 3 distinct phases. So they kind of have you gradually cutting things out through each week. So the first week they call Reclaim. And each week they have a different set of supplements that you take. So you take this one called Optimize, one called Revitalize, and one called Soothe. So you're taking a lot of supplements, you're drinking a lot of water, and then they also, so those are all pills that you take. And then they also have some packets of a drink that you drink. And every day you drink this one called Alkalinize. And that's really the only thing that I had trouble getting down. Each time you would drink it after lunch, and it's green, and it's got wheatgrass and all this stuff that's very potent, strong smelling and tasting. So I would really have to check that down quick. But the other drink that they have, the detox drink that you do in week 2, it wasn't that bad. It kind of reminded me of the 3-day refresh, the detox drink in that one, the fiber sweep. It's very similar to me, and it has a little bit of that citrusy flavor. So that one is kind of thick and kind of goopy, but it's not, the flavor's not as bad. So that was the other thing as part of the planning ahead, is like you have to constantly be thinking, okay, when am I supposed to take these pills? And they want you to do it like 30 minutes before you eat. So I literally would have like my chart set out for the day and have to like mark stuff off so I would remember what I was doing. So like the first phase, it was great because I was like, hey, I can eat eggs, I can eat some chicken. So I was like, hey, I can do this. But then it got into the second week and they were cutting out the dairy and all meat and stuff. So then I was really just eating a lot of vegetables and fruits. They have you eating a lot of Asian foods, which I was kind of wondering about that. They have you like making miso soup. I had never had that before. And like seaweed, like adding seaweed to stuff, which I really had a tough time with that too. So that was another one of the things I modified. Like I would just maybe eat vegetable broth or something that wasn't quite as strong of a flavor, but still basically the same thing, just like a broth, and put some veggies in it and stuff like that. So then the third week is the restore week, where you take these the revitalized pills, which is more of a probiotic. You're like rebuilding your system after you've done all the cleansing. Then it rebuilds up your probiotics and gets your system back in order. And by that week, that's where you're not eating any grains. Like the prior weeks, you could eat like brown rice and quinoa and millet. Like I had never had millet before, and my husband and I both really liked it. So we've incorporated some new foods into our diet since we started doing this. And so, I mean, it was a great experience in that sense that we've tried new things. We've tried preparing things differently than we've prepared them before, and started liking some things that we didn't eat that much. So, I mean, I think it was a great experience. It also focused a lot on hydrating ourselves really well. And so I got into a really good routine of drinking my water a lot better throughout this process. That's one thing I've been able to continue even after the program's been over. Like every morning now, I wake up and I get a big jug with however many ounces I need for the day. I fill it up and I squeeze a lemon out and I pour the whole lemon in there. So I have lemon water for the whole day ready. So that was like a new habit that I started, which I've been happy to keep doing that. It does have you to cut out coffee and anything with caffeine in it. So, and I thought that was going to be hard for me because I love my coffee in the mornings. I drink decaf. So it's not the caffeine, but I just like the hot. I love the smell of it. So I thought I was going to be dying on that part. But after I had a bad headache the first day, and then after that, I felt so great. I literally, like my head, it felt like there was a fog like lifted off my head. And you hear people say that, but I really could tell a difference with my focus and my energy, feeling better. And they also in my water, I forgot, they have this mineralize. It's a salt, but it's natural salt from the earth, and they said it's even better than the sea salts out there as far as giving your body extra enzymes and nutrients and stuff like that. So I definitely noticed a difference being on it, even though, the things I did to modify as far as to have energy to work out, I would eat some protein bars here and there to give myself a little bit of extra protein in those second weeks. But I mean, for the most part, I just followed what they had on there. And then if I needed to add, I did. So, and they do allow some exercising, but it's like breathing exercises, stretching, walking, like light yoga and stuff like that. And they do recommend Tai Chi to do, which is very mild workout. But, I was doing the 21-day fix extreme, so I needed a little bit more than that. But I thought it was a great program.
Awesome. Thanks. Would you do it again?
Not anytime real soon, but I would like to do it again. Maybe a once a year type thing. I don't know.
Yeah. Cool. Well, thank you. Does anybody have any questions real quick before we move on about the Ultimate Reset? No? Cool. Well, thanks. Yeah, I've always been intrigued. I don't know. It sounds like a lot of work.
It is a lot of work. The one nice thing is it actually has laid out for you every day what you're supposed to eat. Like you go to day one and there it is.
Yeah.
So my meal, it was easy to meal plan except for the odd, unusual ingredients.
Yeah. Cool. Did you see like weight loss?
Yeah,
Or were
well,
you looking-
I actually, like the first week I lost like 5 pounds, which is unheard of for me. And then I wasn't able to stick with it as strictly the second 2 weeks. So I only lost like maybe another 2 pounds after that. But it was very significant for me.
That's great. All right. Well, thanks, Nadine.
Uh-huh.
All right. So let's get Jamie going here. So I'm going to have Jamie is part of your team is also part of the Dream Team. And you are 2-star now, right, Jamie?
Yep.
2-star. She's a 2-star diamond coach. She's also, for those of you who don't know her, also a professional rapper, which is pretty awesome. And at Summit, she actually got to rap on the big stage in front of everybody at LP Field, which was amazing. I'm so excited to welcome you, Jamie, because I loved, like everybody who got to see you live and in person at Summit, I loved what you had to say. So I'm excited for everybody to hear it. So you can take it away.
All right. Well, first of all, congratulations to Nadine, because I've done the Ultimate Reset too. And it's a lot of work. It's like full-time job just to prep, clean, and then do it. So good on that. All right. So how many of you guys were at Summit? Just a couple of you, right? Because this is going to be the same thing. Well, some of my people too, but I have the same slides from the presentation that I did there, because I just wanted to kind of share with you guys the same thing, because it's really like the core of kind of what I'm all about right now in this moment. And that changes all the time, to be honest. But right now in this moment, I'm all about the confidence because of where I came from. And so for those of you guys who don't know anything about my story, my whole life I was severely, I don't know if severely is the word, but just like super quiet and shy, but more so because I had anxiety, social anxiety. So some examples of that would be my best friend, even like up until 5 years ago, had to go up and pay for my clothes when we went shopping because I didn't want to interact with the cashier. I took F's in college because when it came to an oral presentation, I'd rather take an F and drop the class than have to do it. One time I actually did it, or I tried. I got up there and my throat closed, and I couldn't even get the words out. I had like cards to read, and the words didn't, and I was so embarrassed. I just stopped and I left. It took an F. I didn't even tell the teacher why. So for me to be even on this call right now is huge, but to do what I just did at Summit is, I would never in a million years think that I would do that. And when Michael Neiman called me to ask about that rap thing, I said, oh my God, yeah, it scares the crap out of me, but yeah, I have to do it. How can you say no to that, And so then for like 3 months, I just crapped my pants getting ready for that because, yeah, it was scary. I just, it's a lot of people. Anyway, so what I wanted to share with you guys and what I shared in the presentation was just how I kind of built up my confidence even in the past 3 years since I became a coach, because I became a coach 3 years ago. I met or heard of Melanie before she was Melanie. I don't even know if she was a diamond yet. One of my friends was her college sorority roommate, and she must have sent out a message to them and kind of pointed me in that direction. And she was just the girl in her before picture. She wasn't Melanie Mitchell or anything. So, you know what I mean. But yeah, I don't even know why I went off on that tangent. 3 years I've been a coach. And with the first year and a half, I really didn't do a lot. And that's because I just had major anxiety about everything. And we didn't have Zoom chats then. It was like this instant presenter thing where you didn't even have to see your face. But I didn't want to get on the calls because your name was on the side. And I was afraid she was going to see my name and call me out. That's how bad my anxiety was. You didn't even have to see my face. So yeah, I didn't do much in the business because of that. But when I found out about the Success Club cruise with, the one from last year, I really wanted to do that. I wanted to get on that ship. And, I hadn't gotten any Success Club points because I myself, when I signed up, wouldn't buy a challenge pack because I bought the two things separately. Even though I got them both, I bought them separately because I thought that if I got it on Home Direct, I was going to have to call and speak to somebody to cancel it. And that gave me some serious anxiety. It's like, Melody probably wanted to kill me. But yeah, I did that. And so I wasted some money there, but that just goes to show you how bad my anxiety was, how low my confidence was. I didn't even want to call somebody to cancel the home direct. I'd rather pay more money and stuff like that. So, but when I found out about this Success Club cruise, I'm like, I'm getting on that ship because I was obsessed with Sean T. I love T25. He was like my favorite guy in the world. And so I kind of had to figure out a way to get more confident in specifically in inviting people to challenge groups and talking about a challenge pack, because I'm not going to get any Success Club points to pay for my trip to get on a cruise with Sean T if I'm not selling challenge packs, right? So I kind of practiced my, I call it an elevator speech. It's like, my 3 to 5 sentences. I crafted this short paragraph of how I would explain a challenge pack in a way that is going to make my potential customer feel confident in what I was saying. So I got my 3 to 5 sentences together, and then I practiced it over and over and over. I practiced when I would change the tone of my voice, when I would, exactly what I would say. I still say the same thing to this day. And I practiced that. And then, so it made the people I was speaking to more confident, but it made me more confident in what I was saying. And a crazy thing happened when I did that. It's very rare now after doing that I make a sale that's not a challenge pack, because when you have confidence, it doesn't matter. You could, and I'm sorry if this is inappropriate, but you could sell somebody a bag of poop. If you were confident about it and what you're saying, they're going to buy it, because when you believe in that bag of poop, clearly Shakeology is not a bag of poop, but they believe it too. They can feel it off you, so sorry, I don't know why I just said that, but yeah. So, I just got more confident, and I realized, so doing that, I had realized that I could change anything I wanted to change, but I had to, put some work into it and get confident about it. And so I started taking steps to do that. So I want to share with you guys how I did that, and I'm going to share some slides with you because it's all about confidence. And I don't mean the kind about faking it till you make it. I mean the real deal kind, and this is how you're going to get the real deal kind. So let me share my screen with you guys. All right. Julie, can you see this? Because you're one of the people I can see. Thumbs up if you can see it. Okay. So we'll start with the first thing these are the 3 things that I focused on to really improve my confidence. And I know it works because I did these things. And then I made a 30-day curriculum for other people on using these things as well. And at the end, I did this little, questionnaire. How did it work for them? And it really worked for people. So it just confirmed for me, that it's not just something that works for me. It works for everybody. So the first things that I really focused on was changing the way that I thought. And I have this quote up here. It says, if you change the way you think, you'll change the way you live. And that was absolutely huge for me, because I was one of those people, I told you guys, really shy, quiet, but it wasn't just that. I would walk around and in my head always, like if I walked by somebody and they looked at me, I would think, oh my God, they think something negative. What's on my face? Is there something on my butt? Oh my God, like something negative always. And my thoughts were like haunting me always. I'm not good enough. I'm not this, I'm not that. And I could never do that. I wish I could do that. And when I started changing the way I thought about myself, it really started changing the way that I lived. And so it was the same thing with that challenge pack. When I changed the way I thought about the challenge pack, when I started realizing that people aren't spending more money, they're saving money and getting so much more from a challenge pack. When I changed the way I thought about it, changed the way that, what happened for me. People were buying challenge packs left and right. So same thing when it comes to confidence. I realized that you're able to retrain your brain, but you just have to take some steps to do that. So the first thing that I want you guys to ask yourself is, how are you speaking to yourself? Because that was my thing. I would always say bad things. Oh my God, I'm so stupid if I made a mistake, or, nice muffin top. Oh, I hate this outfit. It looks like I have a muffin top, and so how are you speaking to yourself? And I wasn't speaking very nicely. And so then after you realize that, then ask yourself, would you speak to your child that way? somebody else's child? Would you speak to your mom, your grandmother? Would you say those things to them? It always specifically works for me when I think about a 5-year-old, my nephew. Would I sit there and tell him he's so stupid because he made that mistake? Or never in my life. So if you wouldn't talk to your kids that way or somebody else, then why do you speak to yourself that way? And I was the biggest culprit of this. So you got to be nice to yourself, you know. Anytime you have a negative thought like that, stop yourself in your tracks and replace it with a positive thought. So instead of, you know, I have a muffin top, gross, I hate this outfit. It's like, I'm working towards getting my abs, you know, they may not be there yet, but I'm working towards that. And that's a good thing. So you just change the way you're speaking to yourself. So another thing is, focus. I don't know why I wrote that. Focus on areas of improvement. Oh, okay. So instead of focusing on all the things that you suck at, you know, I suck at recruiting. Start saying to yourself that you're focusing on the areas in which you can improve. And then you actually have to take the steps to improve that, but we're going to get to that in a minute. And so, so be nice to yourself. Focus on areas and you can improve, not the areas that you suck at. Because you don't suck. You can there's room for improvement always. And then, so one thing that I really like to share with people is that at the end of each day, make a list of all 10 things that you accomplished, 10 things that you did. And because I'm usually at the end of each day, I didn't do this. I didn't get this done. Oh my God. And then I go to bed just like panicking about all the things I didn't do, all the things I didn't get done. So instead of focusing on all that, you make a list of 10 things that you did get done. And they don't have to be crazy things. It could be as simple as, you know, I did a load of laundry and I called my brother. I said, hello, that's been on my list. I reached out to so-and-so to see how their day was. 10 things that you did. Either say them out loud or write them down, but focus on them before you go to bed. And forget the things that you didn't do until the next day. And then another thing is just look up and smile at people. So I always have my head down when I was walking around because I always thought that people were thinking negative things about me because of the way that I was speaking to myself. And so when you look up and smile at people, funny thing happens. They smile back. And a lot of times that leads to a conversation, which can also lead to, you know, great things, new friends, new networks, new coaches. I was on a plane one time, and instead of looking down, it was whatever plane that is where you don't get to pick your seat. I was one of the last people on the plane, so I definitely wasn't picking my seat. Or, you know, you don't get to pick it ahead of time. You just, wherever it is a seat you go. I think it's Southwest. So I actually looked up this time, and this old couple was like, come sit here. So they gave me the aisle seat, and I sat there, and I spoke to them the entire time. And by the end of the flight, they had taken my information down. They wanted to give it to their daughter. And next thing you know, their daughter's a coach on my team. So you never know what's going to happen when you look up and smile at people. So yeah, with positive thinking, focus on how you're speaking to yourself. Make an effort, a conscious effort to change the negative to a positive. It's okay to say negative, but this is how you retrain your brain. Anytime you start to realize it, stop yourself and replace it with a positive thought. And then focus on the areas in which you can improve, not the areas that you suck. Focus on things that you did accomplish that day, no matter how small, because they're all important. And make sure you look up and smile at other people and realize that you're badass, whether you like it or not. So the second thing that you guys, I really focused on, and this, I put it in the second thing, but this is my biggest thing, I think, because if you ask my team, I talk about it all the time. I think it's crucial. I know that there's 3 vital behaviors of Beachbody, but this is my number one, because without my personal development, some days I wouldn't even feel like doing the workout or something like that, you know? So personal development, I made it a priority, and I didn't. I told you for the first year and a half, I wasn't doing much in the business. I was having weekly calls with Melanie, and she would ask me, you know, have you done your personal development today? And I'm, oh yeah, I did it. Yeah. Nope, did not do it. And here's why. It reminded me of school. I didn't do well in school. I have major ADHD, and I hated to read. And so that was my reasoning. I didn't feel like reading. I didn't want to read. So I wasn't going to do personal development. And that was my excuse as to why I wasn't doing it. But here's the thing. It's not like school, because you're in control of what you're reading. It's not like you're being forced to read this, that, and the other thing. You get to choose what you're going to read. You get to choose the books, the authors, or whoever. And if you don't like to read, you can just listen to it instead of reading, which I do both now. I actually like to read now. But so I didn't know this for the longest time. I had an iPhone for like 2 years now, and there was always this purple button on it. This one right here. I had no idea what it was. None. And I heard some things about podcasts, but I really didn't understand what it was. But anyway, somehow I got into finding out what this is, and I started using it. And it was the best thing I ever did because the podcasts are amazing. I listen to it whenever I'm in my car. Sometimes I Uber drive and I listen to personal development podcasts. Specifically Chalene Johnson's The Chalene Show, because there are so many that she has on there that I think have helped me greatly when it comes specifically to confidence. She has one about introvert versus extrovert, which kind of opened my eyes, because what I thought it was and what it actually is two different things. And it kind of helped me to understand myself and be kind to myself about when I needed to take some time, because I'm an introvert 150%, but I'm an outgoing introvert. So it's confusing, but I suggest you guys listen to that. And then she also just has some on positive thinking and confidence as well. And you can listen to them, and you can listen to them over and over and over, which is what I did when I found a couple that I liked that I thought was helpful. Listen to them all the time. I have a radio in my shower, like a little thing that connects to the Bluetooth. So taking a shower, I can hear podcast, vacuuming, headphones go on, podcast, always. Whenever I can listen to a podcast, I do. So I suggest that. But personal development is like key. You have to make it a priority, because not only is it going to make you a better coach and a better leader, but it just makes you a better person, period, in your life, in anything that's going on in your life, any issues you're having. It's crazy. I'll be listening to personal development and not even really listening. And then all of a sudden I'll be like, whoa, that relates to this that's happening today. Maybe not even something Beachbody, and it really kind of points me in the right direction. And without it, I would be insane. Hands down, I'd be crazy. So yeah, you have to make personal development a priority. I like the quote at the bottom, because change is inevitable, but personal growth is a choice. You're going to grow, you're going to grow up, you're going to get older, things are going to change, things are going to happen in your life. But to grow on your own personal journey, that's a choice that you have to make. And the way you do that is by doing your personal development every day, every single day. Whether one day you're listening to a podcast, or you come to a team call, or you're reading a book, you got to do it every day. Whether it's just 10 minutes or you got a couple hours in, you got to do it. So that's my second thing. But again, I kind of hold this one up at the top. So the third thing that I focused on to really get my confidence going is stepping outside of my comfort zone. And see how I did that? Comfort zone's right here. Magic happens outside of it. And that quote is so cliche. And I talked about in the speech that, I've probably put it up on my thing a lot, and you've seen it all over the place, but it's just so true. It's just the truth, it's nothing new. I won't say nothing good, but change does not happen within your comfort zone. So if you're looking to grow as a coach, if you're looking to grow your team or whatever you're doing, you got to step outside of your comfort zone to get there. You got to do those things. You got to make yourself uncomfortable. So I've now made myself uncomfortable a lot. One of the times being, go check out my like page. I practice, or I'm writing a size wrap right now, and I put like the beginning of it on my like page to see if people would like it. And I hate the way I look when I'm like on the screen, especially if I'm rapping. My head moves a weird way when I'm singing. Like it will go weird, make weird faces when I sing, and I can't stand it. It makes me so uncomfortable. Today I did that. Yesterday I put a song that I was playing on my guitar to make myself uncomfortable for that very specific reason. So one thing that I can ask you guys to do, and this is how I started out. I still do Fearless Friday, but every day is Fearless Friday for me now. But I have my team or, my challengers schedule a time in to make themselves step outside of their comfort zone. And that's on Fridays for me. It's Fearless Friday. And that's in addition to the daily activities already that push yourself outside of your comfort zone. One of those for me would be inviting. I'm still doing those things every day, but the big scary ones are saved for Friday. Although, now that I've been doing it so long, it's really hard to find scary ones anymore. So you'll see how that works. But so schedule the time in, and you can actually blame it on me. I find that sometimes it's easier if say you want your Fearless Friday is to post a video on your page or whatever. Blame it on me. Put it in your post. Say, Jamie challenged me to do this Fearless Friday thing, so here I go. Takes a little bit of the pressure off of you for your first one, and you can tag me in it. I'll like it. I'll comment, whatever. But you guys, you really, really, really gotta make yourself uncomfortable. And my big thing when I was saying this speech at Summit or whatever it was, presentation. Now this was on Thursday. I wrapped on Saturday and I couldn't tell anybody about it. So I told them, today I get a bye. My Fearless Friday's on Thursday, but it was actually on Saturday because I got up in front of 25,000 people and busted out this rap. I couldn't even breathe when we were about to go on stage. It was really hot. I was drenched, but I couldn't breathe. I thought that there was a lady who had to push me onto the stage. And when my feet started walking, I thought that my knees were going to give out and I was just going to fall. And then I thought that the words weren't coming out when I was speaking. And then I realized I just blacked out and it was over. But you got to make yourself uncomfortable because it will be so worth it. It's scary in the moment, but once you do it, it's like pulling off a Band-Aid. It's, it gets easier and easier as you go. And you realize that the growth is it's so worth it to make yourself uncomfortable. And you have your whole team to back you up and support you through the process. So I'm going to stop sharing for a second. So those are the 3 things that I really focused on to help to improve my confidence. And I'll tell you, it worked. And mostly within the past year. Actually, Kathleen, you were on that retreat with me in where were we? Maryland. And I don't know if you remember this, but we had, there was an icebreaker, or not even an icebreaker. They wanted to play charades. You have to get up, and there's like 30 ladies there. I don't know. And I don't want to get up and do charades for people. I actually made an excuse that I had to go. Well, I did have to go get a toothbrush. I forgot my toothbrush. I found it later. But I left, so I didn't have to play. I was that not confident in being around a bunch of people that I didn't know and playing charades that I removed myself from the room. I was severely, very just not confident. So that was just a little over a year ago. And so much has happened in that time because I focused on these 3 things. So that's what I got for you guys. I don't know if you have any questions or anything.
That was fantastic. Oh my gosh. I love hearing you talk because it's so real and it's so relatable, and there's such great practical things to do and to try. I'm sorry, I have a nervous kindergartner that's starting school tomorrow that keeps coming over.
Oh, he should step out of his comfort zone.
But anyway, does anybody have questions for Jamie while we're here? You can unmute yourself if you want to ask something. No, I actually have one. What can you do your 3 to 5 sentences? How do you talk about Challenge Pack? Because I feel like, honestly, this is something I want to practice with our team. I feel like if we can get more comfortable sharing it, I think it would be a lot easier for everybody involved, which is why we're practicing sharing our stories. But an extension of that would be, how do you talk to people about this business?
Right. So my big thing was I was selling programs. Like my PV was always off the chart for selling programs, but I couldn't get the challenge pack because I didn't know how to explain Shakeology. So my elevator speech is about Shakeology because the other part's easy. So what I say is when they ask me what Shakeology is, I say that, in today's world, I get all passionate about it, but I'm like, in today's world, you're just not getting the vitamins and nutrients that your body needs to thrive from the food, because even the soil isn't as nutrient dense as it was 100 years ago. Or even when you buy, groceries at the store, they're picked prematurely, which means they don't even have the full nutrients that they should have in them, and then shipped, and they lose even more. By the time they get to the shelves, it's very depleted in what you need. So Shakeology kind of fills the gap and provides you with the essential vitamins and nutrients that your body needs to thrive, which in turn just makes you feel better, makes you happier, your skin, your nails, everything. And so, kind of fills the void in that sense. I don't know if that's exactly what I say. I haven't said it in a while, to be honest. But yeah, I just talk about Shakeology, and it usually talks about the essential vitamins and nutrients that your body needs to thrive, and mentions how we don't get them in the food today, especially with all the processed food, and how that is going to make them feel.
Oh, I like that. That's good. I'm glad we recorded this. I'm gonna go back. But it's so important to have that down, because when you get stuck, like if somebody asks you a general question, you're right. If you don't have the confidence there, people really are buying the confidence, right? Like you said, where you could sell them, whatever.
Think
But
about it. If you went to, I don't know, you went somewhere and you wanted to try this certain flavor ice cream, and you asked them, how is this ice cream? And they're like, it's okay, but I don't know, sometimes, well, you could probably get it cheaper. I mean, you could go, but you're going to want to try the flavor they're talking about. It's like, you don't even know what you're talking about. No, I don't want to try that flavor, you know? But if somebody's like, this one's the best one, it's so good, it tastes like, you know, a little bit of heaven on your tongue, and you know what I mean? Like, you're like, oh yeah, I'm getting that ice cream.
yeah.
Whether they know or not, you know, they might not even have tried it. Hopefully they did, but you don't know that. You're believing what they're saying.
Yeah, I love that. And I love that you practice it, including like the intonation of it, because I feel like even sometimes when we know what we're talking about, if we don't have the passion behind it, it still comes out kind of flat, you know?
Actually, know what you guys can do? Here's a tip that just came to my head that I didn't put in it. When I was practicing for the presentation at Summit, I'm a very visual like, I don't like reading, like I said earlier. So what I do is I record things on GarageBand, and then I put it on a CD. So I recorded my whole presentation on GarageBand, and then in my car, it's subbed for my personal development, I would just listen to what I said. So I spoke it in the way I wanted to speak it, and then I played it over and over and over and over, and it helped me to remember, and I said it in the way I wanted it to say it, with the change in my voice and pauses and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I've even heard Eric Worre. I don't know if you guys know the GoPro guy. I listened to his whole spiel. He did like a seminar, which is basically his book now. But anyway, he says that exact same thing about, that's how he got started too, was he had somebody else. I don't think it was him, but then the same thing when he was doing a speech, just listening and practicing when to, you know, make his voice go up and down and whatever. So that's such a great idea.
Plus you can hear yourself.
Okay. What's that?
You can hear yourself, you know, do your 3 to 5 sentences so you can play it back to yourself and pretend you're the other person. And would you want to hear that, or does that sound good?
Right. Okay. Anybody else have questions or something else that they wanted to bring up? You can unmute yourself if you do. I don't know what's going on. My team always has questions.
Yeah, it scared them.
I don't have a
Or
question.
never. I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yes, go.
Okay. I was going to say, I don't have a question, but thank you so much for sharing, Jamie, because I feel there are so many people who have that same anxiety, but not anywhere near where you started. So to hear like some of the issues and problems and things that you had in the past, I mean, that's like, wow. I mean, I can't believe that you were on the stage rapping. You know what I mean? Like, that's amazing. I can't even believe it. I mean, I feel like I was like a very shy person, you know, growing up. I mean, I even had, like, I had my husband give the speech at my brother's wedding because I couldn't talk in front of people. But to hear like you, like, wow. I mean, so thank you for sharing. And I feel like I'm glad this is recorded, because I know there are people that on our team I'd like to share this with. So yeah, I would never know. I mean, listening to you tonight, you would never know. So that's awesome.
I think it's amazing how much being a health and fitness coach with Beachbody changes you as a person. Because I was the same way in the beginning. Like I'm sure Kathleen, Terry, and Nadine can remember, but I couldn't even get on our team calls. Like, I always called in because I was just so shy, and I didn't even know what to expect from a Zoom call, you know, and never did I ever think that I would ever be a leader of my own team. And I have a whole team underneath me now. And it's just crazy, like how much it really changes you as a person. And it just has made me grow so much, you know, and changed my life, really, you know?
Yeah, it's crazy. really is. It's Beachbody. You know, you buy a package to lose some weight, and then next thing you know, you're a different person in a better way.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Very true.
All right. Anybody else want to chime in? No. Okay. Well, thank you, Jamie, for sharing all that great information. And another good podcast that I like is School of Greatness. Lewis Howes. He's awesome.
Oh yeah, definitely hit that.
Yeah, he's so great. And I keep listening to. I have Audible, so I get the books on the audio books, which I find really helpful. Yeah, I enjoy reading, but I seem to fall asleep these days when I try. So listening is really helpful. Anyway, if you guys haven't, you probably have heard You Are a Badass, but that book is, I keep listening to the same chapter over and over again because I feel like I'm trying to work through one of those little issues, but it's really good. And I would recommend that as well. Have you read that one, Jamie?
Oh yeah, I love it. You know what? She makes me laugh. I would say it in my head the way I thought she would speak it, and I just thought it was really funny the whole time. So,
and she actually in the audio, she's the one reading, like it's her voice. She's actually reading it, so it's even cooler. I think the audio because you can actually hear how she would talk, which is probably how she's writing. It's really funny. She's hilarious. Okay, so we are going to end tonight. We try and end our calls with a little inspiration. So I've invited, Jen is actually going to give us something that has inspired her for us. So let me unmute you there, Jen. There you go.
Hi. I just had kind of recently came across a quote by Michelle Obama. And it is, there is no magic to achievement. It's really about hard work, choices, and persistence. And I thought that not only does that apply to people in general, but I think it really applies to us as coaches. Because we do make choices every day that affects the growth of our business and also that affects our own personal growth and like our goals that we're trying to reach health-wise and fitness-wise. And then, you know, I think we've all probably learned, or we will learn if we're new coaches, how consistency and persistence really make all the difference. And I kind of wrote a note about how, like, basically all the top coaches tell us this, and obviously there's a reason why they tell us this and why they're top coaches is because they follow that, you know, the persistence, you have to keep with it. And even though it's hard, you know, not to let, you know, things get you down and just kind of move on when the bad things happen and just keep going. And the reason that this kind of spoke to me is because I believe that whole entire comment that Michelle Obama made. But for some reason, I feel like I still need to be reminded of it all the time, you know, and so to see it and to maybe like post it somewhere where I can see it, it just reminds me that, you know, how important it is to make the right choices every day, put in the hard work and be persistent. And then that's what's going to get me to my goals. And that's what's going to help me get others to their goals because they'll see me doing that. So that's kind of my little inspiration is for everyone to just kind of, you know, realize that it is up to them. You know, it is up to us what we do every day, and that making the right choices is not only going to help ourselves, but help the people that we're wanting to help. So that's my little do that for the day.
Wait, say the quote one more time, just so we get it in our head.
Yeah. There is no magic to achievement. It's really about hard work, choices, and persistence. So there's no magic wand that's going to make things happen. It's really up to us to do what we need to do to make things happen.
I like it. Ooh, I like it. You got to put that on a little picture, a little cute picture.
I will. I thought about that. I'm like, how can I share this with everybody so that they can see it? But yeah, yes. I'll post it in a group or something. So
yes, perfect. Cool. I love it. Thank you for sharing that. It's really good. And it goes right along with what Jamie was saying. So I think you guys must have coordinated. So thank you. All right. So let's wrap up for tonight. Thank you again to everybody who talked. Julie for sharing your story, and Nadine for giving us the lowdown on the Ultimate Reset, and Jamie, of course, that was amazing, and Jen for the quote. And I think I'm going to go for the Fearless Friday. I like that, and I absolutely will blame you, Jamie. Do you hashtag Fearless Friday?
Yeah, do it up. That's what I've been doing, trying to spread that Fearless Friday.
All right. I'm going to do it.
Everybody should do it.
Everybody should. Let's all do it.
Challenging you to do Fearless Friday, hashtag it, and tag me in the post on Friday.
Yes. All right. Blame. But she says tag her, but she means blame her.
Yeah. Blame me. It takes a little pressure off.
All right. Thanks, everybody. Have a good night. Thanks
All right.
again, Jamie.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jamie's team.